Hello, guys. Welcome back to this episode of the podcast. I'm joined by my friend here, Melissa. Thank you for making time out of your day. It's the same thing we just talked about. I said thank you already, but for your effect, in case this is the first episode, I'm doing this for your mental security.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Okay,
coffee.
so you like using the word, you said literal. You like using it.
I use the word literally to express exaggeration.
I fucking
It is
hate
complete. Is it a complete? Like, I am literally so upset right now, but I'm not that. I mean, not literally upset. It's just over exaggeration.
First off, you're not wrong for saying it now because they fucking added it to the
Did they?
Yeah.
They modified the definition.
so much because unfortunately, well, I mean, it's normal.
Our language is going to shit.
Yeah, it's being adjusted to how popular it is. That's how it's always been, and I guess that's fine. As a person of literature, I don't agree. No, but I don't like when people say literally, right?
Yeah.
Because the way I was taught is that you use the word literally when you need it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, not when you're trying to express like an emphasis on the emotion.
Yeah.
But to basically, I guess, differentiate the common
The
phrase.
realness of what is occurring.
When I say shit hit the fan,
Yeah.
right?
Literally, like, shit did not.
Exactly.
Unless you actually had
Yeah.
someone, like, throw shit at the fan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you were saying, okay, so one good example is I was telling my wife we bought a new vacuum, and then I was like, that vacuum sucks. So, and then I followed it with literally. So that's perfect because
Dad joke.
right, it is a dad joke, but that's the way it's
Yeah.
intended to be, because otherwise people in a regular sense would not really know if, like, what do you mean it sucks? Like, it sucks because it's supposed to,
bad?
or is it bad because that's a
Yeah.
common phrase?
Yeah.
So you add that word to differentiate that. It's only for common phrases. So, like, again, when shit hit the fan, there was no literal shit hit the fan, so you don't need to use that word.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because it sounds a little. I think the reason people use it is because it
sounds fun.
It sounds fun. Easygoing. I think it's also I don't know, I don't want to be rude, but I'm always I always tend to lean on the more asshole side of things, and I've recognized that at least. But instinctively, especially in the beginning of my issue with the word, I've always kind of related the attempt to use it as an attempt of using a higher vocabulary. You know what I mean? Like, if I hear someone say that, it's like you're just trying to fucking sound smart.
Yes and no. I mean, smart is relative to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people that come up to me and say, "Wow, your vernacular is incredible. Like, you're so well spoken." But I've spoken to other people whose vocabulary is significantly better than mine. Like, I mean, just leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Like, it's all relative, but you definitely shouldn't judge people based on their limited vocabulary.
No,
like,
you're right.
Definitely should not.
You shouldn't do that, Victor,
Yeah.
you piece of shit. No, I know. No, but which is why I called myself out. I said, you know what? I know it's an asshole thing to do.
Yeah.
It was just something that I had a pet peeve with because I hated the way everyone used it.
I'm just see it from the at least they learned a new word.
Yeah, right. You're seeing the
The good, the better
optimism
side. Yeah, the
side.
optimism.
I'm being the pessimist in this fucking.
At least they learned a new word.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think
They're just not using it right.
Yeah.
But they know how to spell it.
do you ever have a problem with your? Because I see you don't say or like a lot. You don't see. I haven't heard you even say it at all.
I actually
Worked
use it
on
a
that.
lot.
But have you ever worked on it?
Yes.
That's cool, dude. See, because I've worked on it too.
I've caught myself with it. I was working in a lab and I was in a conference call with corporate and I was talking to my vice president and I kept saying and like and like and like and
How did
it
you
was
realize?
like 3 or 4. I got called out on it.
Oh shit.
Like my
That's
senior
the worst way to realize it.
my mentor called me out and he was like, you can't, you're not giving the information the way that you should.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying it. Yeah, I catch myself doing it, but
That's good.
I actively work on not saying
that's
like.
good. At least you're aware of it.
Yeah. So whenever I'm speaking, so I've been trying to practice my Spanish lately. And I wanted
That's
to
good.
actually travel to Mexico City by myself, but my biggest concern was not being able to speak the language fluently. And I've been practicing with my best friend Spanish for a couple years already. And even in Spanish, the way that native Mexicans can tell whether you're Americanized or not Americanized is whether you use or in Spanish for that thought break.
Okay.
So
and they'll immediately realize.
Realize you're a traveler.
It's weird.
And you have to. I mean, whenever I'm doing like solo trips and stuff like that, I have to think of how I can immerse myself into their language so that I don't get recognized or spotted out too quickly. Like.
Yeah. No, especially.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is that I find a lot of similarities in you with me because, like we were mentioning, we're both Virgos. You're one of my kind. Right?
I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Virgo. She's a Virgo. I'm a Virgo. But it's interesting because I strive for self-improvement. I strive for self-improvement and I'm using this for dramatic effect, at a molecular level. Like, it's basically that thing that describes me, that I want to do it because it's not something that I should maybe improve myself. It's because it's like, if I
can talk to your protons?
Maybe. Okay. I don't want to give too much info on my secrets, okay?
A lot of meditation.
But no, I use that as a metaphor, okay? Because I'm saying, like, it's within me, like it's basically part of my code. And it's interesting to see because I have my doubts about, what do you call that? Astrology.
Yeah,
I have my doubts about astrology. Yeah. But it's interesting when you run across another person with similar interests, because here's the thing, at the first start of the first podcast we did right now earlier, I started realizing that first, we fast, right? Second, that whole thing, you work on it actively. I do the same thing, albeit, right, we're in maybe different paths, whatever, but these fundamentals exist and are apparent.
I feel we're at a level of self-awareness that a lot of people aren't.
Boom. Mic drop on all you other non-Virgos.
Everyone needs to work on yourself. All of y'all need to work on yourself.
Dude, but isn't it crazy? Have you ever seen? Okay, I think I don't want to put your personal life out there, but I will. I don't know are you in a relationship? Do you have a boyfriend? Somewhat.
I don't know.
If it's in the middle.
I don't know.
You got a special relationship with someone more than a friend?
Yeah, for now.
Okay, and even before with your other relationships, have you ever been aware of their difference in personalities based on their?
Yeah, that's why they haven't worked out yet.
But is it what have you kind of seen as far as, like, I'm pretty sure you've kind of paid attention to the whole what is your sign aspect of the relationship.
No.
Never?
No.
You've never looked into
it? I mean, I've looked into it for shits and giggles, but for me it's just kind of, I just realized that people don't operate on my level. And that's just...
But do you think it's because of their sign?
I don't know if I could... Look, I don't know. I'm in between, but I want to
do we have a lot of similarities as far as fundamentals, principles, heavy? And that's my point, is that we're both Virgos.
Have you met other people that are like that?
Not my sign with that. I'm not being subjective or not being biased.
I have other friends that are Virgos that I kind of identify with as well.
But and I've seen other people, but they do it for the specifically different reason. Like, I know other people who fast, but then their motives is different. Whether it be I'm trying to lose weight, or I thought it was kind of cool to do, or my friend got me into it. You see that different motivation, and that's where you kind of see those small fundamental values that kind of make up that motive, I guess.
Yeah, I live my life trying to be the best version of myself I can be.
That's crazy.
In all aspects. I mean, vocabulary, education, working out. I mean, I don't half-ass anything. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to go balls to the walls with it and do it right the first time.
No, I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing at, is that something that I do?
I fully commit to things when I decide to commit.
The first episode?
Yes.
Okay, so he stopped being on the podcast because he saw it was taken too serious. Yeah.
Okay.
And I understood. I didn't blame it anything on him, but that's something that he said we wanted to do it as a hobby, and I was like, okay, that's fine, that's cool. But I almost realized it because I always wanted to do content creating. And the moment he mentioned doing a podcast, I thought it was an awesome opportunity, albeit, yes, a hobby, but it's something that I wasn't going to take lightly. I was going to go in. Like you said, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be done right.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the vibe you're reading here. And so that's
very nice.
Awesome. Thank you. So that's that's where I'm kind of coming across, is that that's weird how I don't meet Virgos often, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I don't often. How often do you see Virgos? Who the fuck has intercourse in January, New Year's?
Actually, it's cold outside, right?
Yeah, but like, there's family around, dude. I'm saying that because people 9 months later are born.
It's on a chilly night.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm saying, like
I do not want to think about my parents right now.
That's my point. Is that I know my mom and dad, they conceived me.
Christmas was fun.
Somewhere around those holidays, and so that's my point. Is that I don't meet Virgos often. I don't think. They're mostly what? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a number where most people are born in.
You remember Pedro?
Pedro, what's his last name?
I don't remember.
Pedro.
Don't call me out. I'm sorry, Pedro.
Okay. I don't know if it's right, but I could say he is into anime.
He was with Joey.
Joey, the guy who he would do this a lot. He would run a lot.
Yes.
I knew him a lot. Yeah, he was real cool with me.
We
Yeah.
were theater kids.
Yeah.
Me and Pedro have the same birthday.
Oh, you do? He's a Virgo?
He's a Virgo.
Damn.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Right,
we have the same birthday.
Right. I'm just making conversation, dude. Okay, you gotta call me out like that.
I need to chill.
I'm just joking.
I don't know how to chill, you guys.
Dude, here's the thing. I would do the exact same thing, right? I would say, like, obviously, but I mean, I'm not.
Obvio.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a point here.
Yeah.
Is that we're Virgos. I don't like believing in that. I don't like fucking stars telling me what to do and thinking.
The idea that my life has been pre-planned for me drives me up the wall. I'm not okay with that because I'm a control freak because I'm a Virgo. I want to control my own life.
Yes, you're right. Now, into that topic, I want to kind of bring something out there. Do you believe in fate or choice, destiny or will? And you can't say both. A little bit of both. No, let's say.
I think choice.
Okay. So you're saying the next hour and a half, right, is based on how you make it, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's up? The what? Oh, you want me to show it? I'll show it. Have you seen that video of the egg?
Mm-mm. What egg?
Okay, I'm gonna show it to you. My dad actually wanted me to show it while we were on the podcast. I said no because we had enough to discuss with him, but I don't mind showing it to a fellow Virgonian.
Is that how you say it?
No, you don't.
I was like, where did that come out from? Add it to Webster's.
Yeah, add it to Webster's. It's an attempt at humor because we're the same species, the same kind. It's funny, dude. Look, okay, I'm gonna show you the egg, and I just want you to get your thought process on it. Okay, before you go and watch it, I do want you to know the effect that it had on me, so that you don't offend you or undermine the video by laughing at it afterwards.
I will. Okay,
just so you can have that respect.
I am very, very, very pro science. Very pro science.
I am pro science too. I'm a logical person, so. When it comes to religion, here's my
religion is very wonky for me at this point in my life.
It's wonky in what sense? You really don't know where to put your finger on, or
none of it.
And you're not interested in it, right, at all.
I like to study religion.
Yeah.
I like to understand why people like religion.
I know I'm putting your shit out there. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal to answer.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem talking about religion. So. Is this relative to the egg?
It is.
Okay. So my parents actually ran a ministry like growing up. Mm-hmm. Like we ran a ministry and a food bank. So most of my life I grew up like in a church. Like my parents would give service. And,
Christian or Catholic?
So we grew up in Catholicism.
Okay.
And then maybe when I was like 10 or 11, my dad decided to convert over to a non-denomination.
Okay.
And there was a lady who opened up a ministry. She was from Canada, and we used to call her Grandma. She was so old. Sorry. I hope her family doesn't see this. She was so old.
She was an elder.
She was mean too. She was mean.
Okay.
She was very nice lady. I mean, she was just
strict.
She was very strict. There you go. She was stern.
Okay.
But she was a good-hearted woman.
Okay. She meant well.
Yes. So my parents would run the ministry for her. Grew up in the church my entire life. And then I just hit like a breaking point in my 20s where I think I just kind of got hit with obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And I just kind of, I got tired. I think I just like physically on a spiritual level, I just got tired of life. And I just decided that like religion was not for me, and I just couldn't believe like I've been through a lot, I guess. Like more than I would say the average person as far as like difficulty and obstacles go. Yeah. So I just kind of hit a point in my life where, you know, they say God is all good. God is all good and all powerful, you know. And for me, it was like, okay, if God is all powerful, all loving, why would he do something like this? Either he is not all loving or he is not all powerful. Yeah. Like it's either or. You can't have both.
I get you.
So I kind of hit that point where I'm just kind of like, I think
it's a logical thing where it doesn't make sense for you, right?
Well, for me, it was just kind of like, okay, if a God does exist, at least like the God that I grew up with, like I don't know if I believe in God, but if there is a God, I've already decided to reject like that God. Okay. Because to me, it's just kind of like, why would you give a 10-year-old cancer? Yeah. To send a message to who? Like for what is that going to do for anyone? Yeah, no, why are hospitals being bombed in Yemen? Why is genocide? Why is genocide happening? Like who exactly is learning the lesson here? Yeah. So for me, it's just kind of like either you're all loving or you're all powerful, but you're not both. Like so that's kind of something that I've really, really struggled with myself personally, because I grew up in church. Like I grew up I was actually baptized. So for me to say, hey, this is not what I want for myself, and to knowingly reject like the religion is also terrifying, because what if I'm wrong? And I like willingly walked away from the church. Like, will I enter into eternal damnation because I knew I was not supposed to make this decision for myself? You know, it's that struggle of, am I right or am I wrong?
That's what I kind of you know, before this actual podcast, I was kind of running through the scenarios of how the conversation was going to take place. And I've kind of imagined, you know, discussing religion. And I also kind of imagined your position on religion based on I don't want to say the stereotypical things, but basically the same, the common, I guess, not the common, I guess, details of your life as far as what I'm seeing. I kind of made a structure of, if I had a bet before, I would have bet that you aren't obviously religious, right? Because of the way you post your life. Not to say that you're oversharing, Melissa, please.
Haram.
No.
Haram.
No, but like obviously, right? Like religious people, you could see how they are. You can tell who goes to church a lot and excessively, and you can tell who doesn't go to church at all, right? Those people who always post about God and shit, you know they're always... Just for this record, I don't call myself a Christian. I don't like to associate. And if you want to support my channel, you might want to go ahead and watch the episode where we talk about why not to be a Christian. No, you should, dude. You'd be interested, because I get into a lot of debate with my dad and shit about, you know, the righthood but the Bible and all that shit.
I mean, disclosure, my belief system is my own belief. This is how I feel. I mean, I have been personally victimized.
Yeah. No, I get you. No. Wait, right now?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. I was like,
no. Like in general, like I'm just saying, like this is just how I feel, because this is how my life has progressed.
Yeah, as a Virgo. You have not in that effect. I'm saying as a Virgo, on a separate note, you say you like to live your life based on science, based on logical consistency, especially. It has to make sense, right? Yeah. That's the way I am with religion. Now, to that effect, where you said, why would God do this? And I'm not trying to make a point. I'm not trying to, you know, change your course of mind or action. Sorry, your place of mind. I'm trying to just show you what my take on that is, because I know that's a big question, especially when it comes to the atheism, right? That whole...
It's scary. It's scary, dude. It's absolutely terrifying growing up like deep into religion and then being diverting into an atheist.
It's like, you feel like you get that, even if it's if it's 1% of your mind kind of saying like, what if the rest of my life is in hell, right? Yeah. Well, first off, I don't believe in heaven and hell. Yeah. I believe in God. I know he exists, right?
So what do you think happens?
That's where the egg comes in, bro. Fucking crazy, Melissa. Look, Melissa, you are aware that there's certain things we don't understand in the universe.
Absolutely.
Right? And you accept that, right?
The United States government just confirmed that there's aliens.
Exactly, right? So to immediately...
But that also is... Oh, go. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. To immediately say that it doesn't exist is going against that thought that you're sure. First off, I'm not saying that I know for positive fact that he does. I'm saying that I believe he does. And I believe he exists. Not because the Bible says, not because the dude in the nice fucking tuxedo collecting $500.
It just resonates with you.
It just makes sense, statistically speaking, when it comes to the creation, the Big Bang, and the likelihood of life happening and whatnot. If you actually look at the chance that our structure as a genetic person build up, the likelihood, it's more likely that someone started it than it happening on accident. That's one of the reasons, which is a whole other conversation, and there's actual statistical evidence to support that fact. When you're talking about the likelihood of an event like that creating diverse, intelligent life, and I'm not talking about intelligent, one thing is intelligent life and another thing is self-consciousness. Yes, that's a whole separate fucking donut that I don't want to bite into, bro.
Well, it's like dogs don't have consciousness.
I mean, I don't know if we start debating into the whole consciousness. First off, okay, I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
Because it's a whole, dude, I'm telling you, it's a whole other fucking...
Yeah, this can go for a while.
This can go forever. Like, so going into that effect. First off, when you say God is all good, God is all bad, remember when you mentioned that good is subjective and your sense of good is different from my sense of good? I also apply that to the God level, right? The sense of good and what is justified, especially when I don't understand the realm of what the limitations of the universe and post-life and pre-life, and whether this is just a fucking blink of, since time is relative, right?
Yeah.
And we believe that time is
Isn't that a crazy concept?
It is. It's fucking crazy because we feel like, okay, how old are you? 26?
Yeah, 26.
26. And it's a lifetime. It feels forever. That's infinity. But there's been thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of years before us that I have no recollection of. And to me, it's a fucking a sentence in a textbook. That's crazy. And for me, 26 years is eternity. It's fucking life. So I'm sorry for cursing.
An eternity. 26 years. It's been a long life.
But isn't it? That's all you know, though, right? That's all you can possibly imagine what eternity is. So that being said, my subjective understanding of what good is, I don't want to limit to what God's subjective understanding of what good is, seeing that he's almighty and all-powerful and all-knowing, whatever, right? On the other hand, there's this other thing that I also think about, is if I was a God and I could do whatever the fuck I want to do, who are you to fucking decide what I can do and not? Yeah. That's another point. So, have you seen Rick and Morty?
Yes.
So he essentially, he's a fucking god, right? He's immortal. He has access to the whole universe, whatever. And so your definition of God is really defined on what you understand as a god, right? So another thing, is it up to me to decide what he can and can't do, or is it up to the fucking person who can do whatever the fuck he wants in this universe because he is, by definition, a god?
Who are you to have any authority?
Exactly. Yeah. My sense of limitation of, like, and look, I don't mean to...
But that's what I'm saying. That's the thing, is that that's not what Christianity says.
Exactly.
Like, the Bible says every single hair on your head is counted. Like, you are loved. You are beloved. You are the most treasured thing in God's eyes. Like, you are the children.
Let's look at the egg. Because you're going to understand why even you saying that right now. Before you watch this, it resonates with me. I cried watching this video.
Okay.
This isn't
I feel like I've probably seen it already then.
Have you heard of fucking ads?
I know what this one is.
Have you heard of do you see animated series on educational animated series on YouTube? And Melissa, I don't want you to think I'm trying to convert you into Christianity. In fact, don't be a Christian, dude. Christianity is a fucking bullshit.
I'm already a good person. I don't need religion.
Okay, good. Like, religion is not good for you. I'm telling you. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not religious. I believe in God because of the philosophy behind what...
Well, that's how I actually started off, is that I didn't start off as an atheist. No.
Okay, good. So what were you saying, sorry?
That's German.
Yeah, it is. But they're not religious. They put a bunch of, like, paradoxes and it's a lot of
paradox. There you go. Paradox is the word.
Yes.
Paradox is the word. I was like, it starts with the P. That's
paradox. Actually perfect.
There
that's
you go.
A paradox. It's a paradox. Okay. That was actually good. Okay.
Got it. It started with the P.
It's It's another thing. It's another episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
go back to the other
to episode 1 for the references. Inside joke, right?
Yeah.
If you're a watcher. But look, so I watched this. It resonates because I don't believe in what Christianity promotes and the way it's structured. I strongly don't disagree. My uncle and
So you
aunt,
just disagree. You don't disagree with God. You disagree with religion
well,
itself.
in what sense do you mean disagree with God? As far as what we think he's interpreted, or as far as what
We've interpreted?
No, of course not. Of course not. I'm realizing that humanity is...
I'm not... Yeah, that's my thing, is that I'm not anti the potential for God. I'm just anti-religion.
When you said it has to make sense, it has to be logical. My philosophies have to be logical.
I'm all over the place. I said I was really wonky on this. I haven't figured it out for myself.
No, but you say when you believe things, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's not
It
crazy
has to make
thing,
sense.
it has to make sense logically. So when you say do what you want to do as long as it makes you happy, for me that doesn't make logical sense.
No.
Right?
Because what if what makes you happy is
Hurting
murdering
else,
people?
right?
Yeah, like that's not...
Exactly.
I mean, sorry, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right, exactly. So my point is, like an algorithm, like a mathematic algorithm, there's no exceptions to the algorithm, right? The algorithm works if you use it with the formula that it was intended with, right? Mm-hmm. So the moment you say, do whatever you want as long as it makes you happy, but that's already an exception, and that's flawed immediately. So then the question isn't about being happy or not, right? And so it has to make sense. So things that make sense is, okay, don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Be selfless, right? That makes sense. Because if you are selfish, in turn, you will hurt others because you don't consider others. In a hypothetical situation, if everyone in this world was selfless and not selfish, right?
We would live in Ethiopia.
Fuck, I know the word.
What is the word?
We would hit in a utopia.
Utopia.
Yeah,
Ethiopia.
it would be
Ethiopian food, really good.
We would live in a utopia, right? Mm-hmm. So if you kind of run that scenario through the I guess the testing system, it makes sense all around. It completes that circle. Every philosophy I use has to complete that circle. It doesn't have an exception. It doesn't have an if and or but.
Can you imagine everyone being exactly the same person?
Dude, okay.
That's the only way that it would work.
That's it. We're gonna watch this video because
I've read that.
It's from a.
It's from an actual forum.
Yeah, it's someone used it. They said they even credited the guy who made it. Mm-hmm. Dude, I was holding back tears. I don't know if you knew, but I was holding back tears. Bro, it's beautiful. I know it's weird and it's like it doesn't make sense.
It made me cry the first time I read it.
You did?
It's not the first or it's not, dude. It's
good.
Not even like the fifth time that I read it. I've understood that concept.
Dude, it gets into this whole understanding of what consciousness is, dude, and what does it mean to be you, Melissa, as opposed to me? What's the difference between me and you, other than our physical appearance?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, there is obviously.
I mean, everyone has like different motivations in their own like life.
Why though?
I think it has to do a lot with upbringing.
Right?
Yeah.
And what is upbringing?
What is your I mean, I am essentially carrying on like my great grandparents' expectations and
so your memories, right?
Yeah.
Essentially what makes you Melissa is memories. Right?
And you know what's crazy?
What?
Is that when you think of memory, you forget that memory isn't fact. Do you ever just think about something in your childhood that you experienced and you'd like tell somebody, like let's say you're talking to your mom about it and your mom says, hey, that's not how that happened.
Yeah, it's an interpretation. Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're able to lie to yourself through memory.
It is.
Like if you retell a memory enough times, you start slowly shifting that memory into your own. Yes.
The freaking mind is. Mm-hmm. And we are ourselves just memory. If I were to erase every single thing.
We are our own experiences.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? If tomorrow, right, you go through amnesia and you wake up in the hospital, you have no recollection of any memory you've had, and the only thing that's holding on to who you really are is everyone else's memories of you. Yeah. That's
you
all
wouldn't
you really
even be
are.
the same person anymore.
Exactly. You're a different person.
You would be a completely different character.
And that, I think, is what consciousness is, right? Your memories that build you up. Well, not consciousness per se, but what makes a person them as opposed to me.
So then how do you feel about people with Alzheimer's?
That, I mean,
Are you saying that they're no longer conscious?
They're conscious, but they're not. People with Alzheimer's
not
can't.
present.
Yeah, they're not. What Alzheimer's retrograde or like the amnesia before, or Alzheimer's with people who constantly forget.
Constantly forget.
Because they can remember up to a certain point, but I've seen when people deal with people with Alzheimer's, at a certain point, it hurts them, and I know why it hurts them because that's not them.
Yeah.
The only thing
you're holding on to the perspective of who they were.
Exactly.
And assuming that they're unhappy at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're assuming you're holding on because they're unaware. They're bliss, right? They're bliss to the fact that they don't know.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, and they're happy that they're not that happy, but they don't know, and what they don't know, they don't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Which gives me back to this whole thing where afterlife, right? You say you hold on to this thing where you're afraid of what if I'm wrong? What if I am rejecting religion, and religion is actually what ends up saving you and taking you to heaven, right? And keeps me away from eternal suffering, right? That's what you're afraid of, and I don't believe in that, because the moment I've accepted the fact that I have no idea what happened before, and I'm not telling you this is the truth, right? But this is my understanding of it. I don't know what happened before my birth. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware that I wasn't aware, Mm-hmm. And so when I die, in a sad way, I've kind of come to that logical conclusion that even if there isn't anything, I'm not going to be aware of that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually not afraid of dying. Like, yeah. I'm like literally just like, okay, when it happens, it happens.
Talk to me again when you have kids.
Well, dude, yeah, I have no responsibility over anyone. Like,
to me, it's just
good life insurance.
No, I'm sorry.
Get some life insurance.
I get yeah. But that's my point. That's again, that brings me back to another point, is that when you have children is when your perspective changes. Because before, you're not really worried about anyone else, except maybe your parents, but not really worried about anyone else. Mm-mm. To a instinctive measure.
I get to be selfish.
Yeah.
All the time.
Up to a certain extent. I don't want to call you out like you're a selfish person or anything, right?
No, I am. I am. Especially with my time.
Yeah. But when you have kids, that's when your perspective changes as far as you realizing. Yeah, your priorities kind of shift. I don't want to say...
I would hope your priorities shift
of course. But I don't think it's a priority shift. I don't want to call it a priority shift. Because you're basically saying I'm rearranging something.
Okay, so what's the differences between you pre-child and post-child?
My realization. No, and you know what? Even before
from this spiritual level. Okay, so like what is it?
Even before the video. I watched it like 3 days ago, dude, and my perspective changed 3 days ago. Because when I had a child, I realized that it's not just about me. And immediately, every child I see, even you, let's say you're a bad person and you fuck up really bad and you mess up a lot of things and you've even killed people to some point. Yes, you're a bad person, right? You're, in a sense, evil. But I recognize that you weren't this way. I recognize that at some point you were my son, right? A son, someone's son. You were being raised, and whether it had been wrong or someone didn't treat you right or something happened there. You were innocent once. You weren't born evil. Mm-hmm. I recognize that. That's from the beginning. That's that realization of having kids. You realize in the right way, because a lot of people still don't.
Okay, so that's okay. So how do you feel about sociopaths and psychopaths? Like you're talking about like people go through traumas that eventually dictate like the terrible, evil things that they do in life.
Not necessarily traumas,
or experiences.
Maybe they weren't educated well, or not educated well, but
you're talking from like an experience standpoint. Like you just did not experience the things that needed to experience to make you like a good member of society. How do you feel about sociopaths and psychopaths and people that have like personality disorders that cannot inherently feel and process the world the way we do?
Yeah.
Because we're assuming that everyone can function at our level.
Yeah.
I had that realization at the beginning of the year that not everyone operates
at our level. Yeah, of course.
Operates at the same level or has the same priorities. Like it's just.
Of course, I feel it's kind of difficult because here's what I'm kind of understanding the way you're coming across. Right now, you're saying that for someone to have become a murderer, a psychopath, right? Someone who
that's at the brain chemical level.
Yeah,
like
of
that's
course,
just like there's people that are just incapable of feeling emotion.
And you're saying that the reason they're like that, either Well, why do you think they get like that?
They're just like that. They're just born like that.
They're just born
Yeah.
like that, like inherently evil.
No. Okay, I never said that.
Okay.
They
Just
never
to clear.
said that they're not.
Okay.
They're not. I mean, this is where you start putting in the definition of good and evil.
Yeah.
It's all relative.
Okay.
You know, what might be good for me might be evil for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also where religion plays a big point.
Role, a huge role. Yeah.
Like hey, be a good person. This is how you're a good person.
So you're saying, okay, I don't.
But from like a sociopath.
What did you say when you said they were born? You said how are born? They're born that way, right?
Yes.
Okay, born.
That's
what
like being
way?
born. It's just like being born with I wouldn't even call it a defect because there's nothing inherently wrong with
Yeah.
with,
I mean, we all have something that's not perfect.
but it's like being born with asthma. It's
Yeah.
like being born with an ear that's like
The
not
cleft-
like
cleft
it's
lip,
cleft lip
stuff
or
like that,
yeah like being. I mean, it's just at an emotional level they just don't operate like that. They don't have the same receptors. They don't
same restraint.
yeah,
of
like
course, they're
they
not
don't look
made
at they
the
don't
same.
yeah
Okay.
they're just not built the same.
Okay.
Like you can look at a puppy and say that is the cutest darn puppy that makes me so happy and feel giddy, versus somebody that just looks at a puppy and is like, okay, that thing's alive. That's it.
Now, because of that, does that mean their ultimate?
Like there are people that they have to actually try to integrate themselves into society.
Yeah.
Like
well, when you say mental disorder, right?
I wouldn't call it I don't feel right using the word disorder.
Disorder, imbalance.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
When you talk about a mental imbalance, I feel like it depends on how you kind of use it because.
Well, I mean, it's the same kind of like with depression.
Yeah, exactly. Depression,
like it's
right?
It's the same, except they're actually at a physical level.
What do you feel about ADHD or ADD?
Sometimes I feel like I have it.
No, when I was younger, when I was born, my parents they
did the test.
They said I was ADD or ADHD, and they wanted to. I think it was an injection at that time, or I don't know what it was, but they wanted to kind of go into therapy as far as kind of restricting my nerves before I even behaved any differently, just based on my
activity
level, chemical structure. I want to say, right, but they said that my dad actually rejected it. And that's based off of his core belief system, which is, no matter what mental or what you consider a classification as a mental inability or a mental imbalance, it's up to you to it's not up to you, but it's within the power to correct or control
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And whether it be easier for some or harder for some, I believe that everyone has that capability. And like I said, it could be drastically harder for some people and drastically easier for some people. For some people, the fight isn't there. The fight is somewhere else, right? For some people, like for me, it's about controlling my selfish intent of imposing my will on others, or my, how you say control freak. In other words, right? That's my kind of, my rejection, which was a big problem in my earlier age, was my rejection of other people's individualism.
Yeah, I have that,
and so that's what
I can resonate with that,
right? And so that's
it's something that I have to practice.
You don't necessarily have an inability or an imbalance as far as your mental imbalance, but that's your own fight, and it's hard for some people. It might not be hard. Like, what's so hard about that, right? It's just respect people. Like, just don't be an asshole. Don't let.
It's not inherent to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where I understand. So people who are sociopaths, people who are psychologically imbalanced, I think, maybe they were born to be more, I want to say, prone or predisposed to easily fall into a pattern, but I don't think it was outside of the power to control. Because you're basically damning a child with ADD or ADHD because of how I'm seeing their chemical levels. They're not going to be able to control themselves. And my point being, my son, my kids, they have their own fucking issues, as you can see. Right, this guy's fucking screaming at his
seemed fine. Dude, me and my brother used to, his kids are just literally just yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Like, me and my brother, my mom would take us to Mexico and we would buy little luchador masks.
Shit.
And we would just like wrestle. I don't know. I grew up on a ranch with a bunch of boys. So for me, like, fighting was an everyday type of ordeal.
Yeah, no, I get you. And
that's normal to me, at least. But maybe to other parents and other cultures, you'd be like, time to get them under control.
No, you're right.
It's also relative. It's relative to your culture, how you grew up.
It is. it's also kind of what you consider to be something that needs to be corrected or not.
Yeah.
I corrected them right after that.
But that's your decision. That's it. That's your decision as a parent.
No, of course it is.
Like,
It is. It's a decision, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a decision to murder also, isn't it? Right? It's not something that's kind of predisposed, or like you said, it's not fate. It's your choice, right? Right.
He caught me.
I do. I catch you. I like catching people because it makes logical sense. If you said something, it has to make logical sense. So if you're saying you don't believe in fate,
that's a choice. Then
the choice is yours to kill someone, whether it be easy choice or a hard
that's what I was
choice.
going to say. I was like, the choice, the degree in easiness for that choice being made is varies.
It does.
Absolutely.
And so my point is, you said that, okay, you said that's nothing, right? The way that my kids are fighting.
Yeah.
My kids weren't born in a way where I wasn't directing them.
Yeah.
Ever since I work from home, it has a lot to do with a lot of fucking factors that people do not consider. And I'm aware of those factors. I've worked from home ever since they were born. I'm with them arguably
their entire existence.
Exactly. Yeah. So every single thing they've done, I have corrected them to a certain extent. To the point where even when I lash out at them the way that a normal Mexican mom would, I catch myself and I apologize directly. No, I not only dial it, I apologize directly so that they can be aware that even the father figure is wrong. Mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between our generation and our last generation. I mean, you always try to do better than your predecessor.
No, of course,
and that's it.
Of course, but I'm sorry to say but.
You're now seeing the things that affected you growing up, and you just want to do better for your kids.
I want to do better for my kids, and I'm also aware that it is integral. How do you say that? I always have trouble with that word. Integral.
Like integrity.
Like it's
integral. Integral. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's a weird word, but it's important that you raise your kids right. Is my point, because my kids.
I know that's like what I've considered. Everyone that I meet, they're like, you're gonna be a really good parent.
That's good.
You're gonna be a really good mom.
But again, you have to base it. Okay, you know how that movie, that egg shit, right? That egg video tells you.
But that's how I try to. I mean, that egg video tells you, like, you're essentially, how I treat you is how I'm treating myself.
Exactly.
The whole like time concept thing. I like it. It's a cute video, but that's how
cute.
It's a cute video.
You're undermining the importance of my video.
I'm sorry. It's a good video. I'm playing. But it's I like it.
I want to take it to a step further regarding specifically what you said, that you're saying you treat me the way I want to get treated, right?
Yes.
How are you treating? What is the motivation behind that? You're treating me because you wouldn't like it the way I treated you?
I just think that everyone has rough days.
Yeah.
And I'm just at if I were having a rough day, I would want someone to treat me with kindness.
Yeah.
I treat everyone with kindness. And you know what? Like, a lot of the hardships that I've gone through has been because I treat people with kindness.
Yeah.
Like, it's at a certain point I do it to myself, but that's just the philosophy that I live by.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
being selfless, right?
I'm selfish. I'm definitely selfish.
In what way? Like, I guess an example.
With like my time and energy.
Well, aren't we all?
No.
I wouldn't invite you if you were boring. I mean, I wouldn't invite you to the podcast if you're boring. That's kind of selfish, isn't it? And I live by a philosophy that it has to support selflessness, which is nearly impossible.
I don't know. Like, that's just how my grandpa was.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I just want to be a good person. Mm-hmm. I don't even need to be recognized for being a good person. Mm-hmm. I sleep better at night knowing that I do everything I can.
So it's a selfish reason.
Yes.
That you do it.
I do. You're selfish in everything that you do.
Mostly.
You can't be selfless.
Well, see,
being a selfless person is selfish in itself. It's an entire paradox.
It is a paradox.
Because
of the way you're looking at it. But I mean, the way I think I'm looking at it, because I've always had that argument, exactly what you said, pre-video. I've had that argument because I've always said, look, you go to church and you do good things, and I'm being nice to you because it makes me feel better. That is selfish in itself.
Yes.
So whatever the end result, right?
Yeah.
But then I was like, so then that whole concept is wrong. Then the way I'm again, it has to make logical sense to me. So when they tell you can't be selfish, you can't be selfless, then is that motivation incorrect? And then I start saying, by my logical means of describing my moral, it is. So then I try to dissect it again and restructure it because something is not wrong. Whether I know it or not, something isn't wrong, right? And when I say I watched this video and it made sense to me, it locked in, that I think that's what I was referring to, that it made sense for me in that way, because I used to be nice to you, I used to be nice to you, I used to be nice to you because I thought it made me feel better, which is, I guess in a way of saying structurally or fundamentally speaking, flawed, because like you said, you're being nice to someone, and at the end of the day, that's what ended up causing you troubles, right? Because you're trying to make yourself happy by being nice to people, and in a way, you were kind of hoping that same treatment would be, or you were setting up that expectation.
I stopped that expectation.
And I think that's good.
Like it prevents a lot of disappointment.
It does.
I guess.
Yeah.
I do things now without expecting anything in return. Okay. And my expectations for people are just very low.
Yeah, no, my dad taught me a long time ago. He told me, he did one of those Dave Chappelle things. When I remember they told you the saying. My dad told me this once, that never expect anyone never to let you down. Anyone. He told me, I'm going to let you down. Your mom's going to let you down. Your sister, your loved ones, your kids, everyone's going to let you down. And that makes sense. You're like, okay, that's true.
Embrace the pain.
Not embrace the pain, but like you can't expect to not be let down. Like it's going back to that thing where I'm saying it was kind of illogically structured, my perception of why I'm treating people nice. Now it was not because now I treat people the way I treat people. I'm talking like I've been doing this for years. I've been doing this for fucking 3 days, Melissa. 3 fucking days.
Wait, you just saw the video? This is a new philosophy that you're adopting in 3 days. You're putting it on the internet.
It makes sense. And
next week's gonna be something different.
Right, it is. No, dude, look, it makes logically sense. And explain to me if it doesn't.
Put it into practice.
Exactly. No, it takes practice, like everything. It takes practice, right? But I want you to dissect it as a Virgo, as a fellow Virgonian. I want you to, that's a new word, I'm patenting it. I want you to kind of
Copyright
it, yes.
God.
I want you to, I'm going to make shirts and shit, right? I want you to kind of look at it and an analytical standpoint and make sense if it's flawed or not for me. Because I like making morals that are logically sound. So I'm nice to her. I'm nice to you. Not because I want to be happy that I'm being nice to you. I'm being nice to you because I understand you as a person. You're looking at me right now, right? You're looking at me and you are looking at a person just like I'm looking at a person.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult.
It's hard to like break it apart
in the words.
Yeah. You're looking at a version of yourself.
Yeah. You are the center of your universe.
Yes.
Right?
Everyone's just living in it.
Well, that's a thing, right? I have no idea what you've been through this entire 26 years. Yet you've been through it. And I've been through my own set of reality. That's my reality. That's your reality. To treat you as if you're just a temporary person in my reality is incorrect, because that's not what you are. You're a person who has been raised as a child. You're a person who has gone through things. You're a person who has been angry, has cried, has been happy, has been let down, and has hopes and goals. And your own ideology in your head, your own universe in your head is processing everything I'm saying and making sense of it. And because of that, because you are your own person, you deserve that respect. You deserve my attention. You deserve my kindness and nothing less.
I like that.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And so before this, I kind of made another realization. You need to watch that other episode with my dad, because at the end we kind of stumbled upon a realization. I look at my kids, and a lot of people, we made an excellent point where it's like you look at your children and you look at them as your kids first. A lot of people do, not me. A good amount of people do, which is why it might be wrong. Like, you look at your kids first as your kids and then as individuals, right? The way I look at my son, he's 4, right? He's running around. He's screaming at his brother, right? And you think he's just fucking being annoying. Hey, stop it. You're getting me mad, right? Dude, he's going through his reasoning.
Yeah.
He's emotionally feeling contempt. He's looking at his brother and he's understanding it the way he's understanding it, just like I'm looking at everything else.
Yeah. He just doesn't have the experience behind it to be able to properly process it. But by no means, because of his age, should he be undermined.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's beautiful that his own universe is in his head and he's experiencing this.
Yeah.
And for me, that's beautiful. That's one. He's an individual in his own.
When did you have this epiphany?
3 days ago. Or no, actually in my podcast yesterday.
It's a good epiphany.
It is.
It's going to make you a better person.
It does. That's why I'm saying, like, I know Bianca for sure, she's noticed that I've treated her with more respect in the last 4 days. But because, again, I realized before I would talk to her in a selfish manner because I was expecting her to kind of yield to my necessities, or not yield to my necessities, to my understanding of what my only perception is.
Yeah.
Without respecting her reality.
That is a level of self-awareness in itself.
It is.
And a lot of people don't get that.
It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. I would have fucking figured this out a long time ago, but it's just it's at the end of the day, it's a bunch of words that just make sense together, and it unlocks this new way of thinking. The moment I saw my son as an individual, and then after that I say, and that's my son. I want to cry because it's like, I made him and he's my son. Mm-hmm. And so we made a realization yesterday when we were talking about the whole Bible stuff with my dad. And I was like, you know what? The whole basic, if you haven't seen it, the whole fucking idea was that I hate that Christians tell you to fucking behave and tell you to fucking not do this and don't do that and don't do this and do this because of the Bible. That's what it says. Do this because of the Bible and do this because of the Bible. And you always wonder why. What the fuck? It doesn't make sense. And I hate that when you cite that source. And I've realized that because my dad told me, as a father, you want your son to do the right thing, not because I'm telling him to do it. Not because I'm telling him, hey, you need to do the right thing because it will make me feel better. As a father, I want my children to do the right thing because they know it's the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's how I take the Bible and religion and all of that. Everything it teaches, it's not because they're telling me to do it. It's because I know logically once I analyze it and shit, right, and dissect it, it's the right thing. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of shit. I'm aware that the Bible is like published and re-edited and all this shit. So for me, I need to make sure it makes sense before I believe it. I'm a skeptical person, but not because I'm trying to do it out of spite or emotional, you
just like to take information in with a grain of salt.
Exactly. It has to make sense. I don't just listen to you because you're saying it's right and that's it. And, I'm afraid of going to hell.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what it is, so it makes sense, and I'm not doing it. So again, being selfless is fucking hard, dude. I'm telling you, you even realize it. At the moment you try to be nice to make yourself feel better, that's selfish.
Yeah.
And so there's something wrong with that then. And I think, again, the way I just put it, which is, you have to respect your reality.
Well, I mean, religion beats it into you to be a good person.
Yes.
You're not a good person, you go to hell.
And it's selfish, right? That same principle.
You just wish everyone had the same motivation behind it without religion having to be thrown in there.
Because look, dude, the moment they tell you, hey, Melissa, if you don't be a Christian, you're going to hell. The sheer fact that you're afraid to go to hell and you want to kind of consider maybe going back to religion is selfish. But let's say you were, right?
Oh, just because I want to save my soul?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is selfish.
Like, I have to be a good person because if I don't, I should be a good person because I want to be a good person.
Listen, 95% of Christians do that.
Yeah, I know.
96, 97, 99%.
I don't have anything against Christians. I just don't like religion being used to hurt other people. Yeah. That is just where I draw the... Yeah.
As an excuse.
Yeah.
Because I don't
We've started wars over religion. Yeah. All wars start over religion. And oil now. But,
and oil, right? And
religion.
And coronavirus.
Well, I guess money is its own religion.
It is. And that's why I say I don't believe in religion. I don't abide myself as religion. I do, because that's incorrect. I'm telling you. When I say
I have like a life philosophy. Like I don't necessarily like believe hardly, like I don't believe in, I guess I would just do karma. Like, I guess karma would be the best way to just describe my life.
Even
like,
karma.
Just be good. Just be a good person.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You have to be a good person.
When I feel disappointed by people or I feel like I've been wronged, I let it go. Like, I don't even hold on to anger anymore. Like, it's just.
Yeah. No, and that's good. I commend you for that. No, well, the reason I commend you for that is because obviously, like I mentioned, everyone's going to disappoint you, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand that, is it their fault they're disappointing you?
Or is it your fault for having expectations?
Having the expectation and not accepting that they're their own person. They're making mistakes, and you have to accept that. It's nothing more than that. You make it what you want to. Mm-hmm. I was molested.
I like this conversation. Okay, well, I liked the conversation. Woo, that went somewhere.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I'm making a point. My dad, I don't know if you saw that episode with my dad. He said he was molested or some shit.
I saw the title of it. I
yeah,
haven't seen it.
Dude, it's intense. Well, the whole premise of it is that you make it what you want, right?
Yeah.
And whatever. We started laughing.
You can't be the victim. Like, so like my biggest obstacle growing up was, well, not like even as an adult right now, like my biggest obstacle is just constantly not putting myself in the victim role. Like, I'm this way because this happened. I'm this way because this happened, or this happened in my childhood, and I feel like I try to justify and make excuses for poor behaviors every once in a while.
We all do. I do. Don't get me wrong.
And I just try to stop myself dead in my tracks and say that's no longer an excuse. Like, get over it,
dude. That's good, dude. Because look, I don't know if you're aware, but like, to even
feel your emotion, and then let it go. Like, why hold on to things?
Exactly. Like, feel it so you can, like, accept it, acknowledge it, and then say, okay.
Done.
And that's true, dude. The problem is, and a lot of people don't realize that, is it takes a lot of discipline to do that.
Yeah.
And that's good, dude. I'm happy for you. Because not everyone does that.
You have to practice.
Like everything, right? Yeah. Like everything. It's practice. Going back to that whole thing, I was molested when I was... I make it a point because, like, when someone says they're molested, I think it's rude because you're like, wait, okay, hold on. Look, first off, I'm uncomfortable because
that is a lot to unpack.
Yeah, exactly. You're making me sit through something that I'm not ready for. But no, like, to put it in there, I was molested. It was by evangelist, I guess.
Okay.
A Christian
religion.
And again, it wasn't extreme. It wasn't like to the point, but you could consider it molestation. And I've never really, the interesting thing is I've never held on to it. Like, my dad told me he held on to it for a long time and even hit it into depression. But you know what I realized? I realized that it's not my fault. It wasn't my fault. It was never my fault. And he did his decision. He has to live with that.
It's good that you learned that early on. Yeah. And you did not let it affect you, because for a lot of people, that is the biggest.
It is.
It's
my dad said he wanted to kill himself because of that. He said he had these thoughts that you're useless. And watch that episode because he talks about all of that. And I understand, because you're trying to, again, your mind is working at a logical level. You're trying to make sense of something.
The world that should have just never happened.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It's like, why is this happening according to this?
But isn't it weird to realize that, like, your father is the person who your father is the product of all of those experiences.
It is.
And, like, his journey with that and having to carry all of that has led him to this and giving you that advice and having this conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a I guess it's a price to pay, right? But it is something
I don't agree with. I don't agree with these kitty lovers. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no. Who does? First off, that's my like zero tolerance. Yeah,
like,
no,
zero,
course,
like,
of course
just
not. Of course
hang them
not.
at City Hall. Or
I do.
burn them or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I
have zero sympathy.
Yeah, I know. I understand. A lot of sometimes though, if you kind of look into their philosophy or their psychology, it's because they were themselves abused and then they fall into that same pattern.
I don't give a shit.
And no, I know it's not excuse.
Yeah.
It's not a justification, but we can't ignore it as a reason either. To avoid this in the future is what I'm saying. We can't ignore if we don't want.
I understand that people don't operate on my level, but at the same time, if you're not willing to work on yourself with something so big.
Yeah, no, of course, dude. But okay,
I get it.
Let me make a point to that effect. You said you were going through a phase, I think at 20 years old, that you were kind of, I don't know if you said depressed, but I don't know, but you were going through something heavy, right? Let me ask you this: were you at all, even a fraction of that during that time, at the mental awareness you are then? Now,
Yes.
A fraction? Mm-hmm. Like, in other words,
I've always tried to dissect myself and like feel like actually not to the level that I'm at now. Now I'm a little more mature and can actually process my emotions and like step away from them. Okay. But I used to be at the point where my emotions literally controlled my life. I mean, everyone in high school knew me. I was very, very quick to anger and like.
I mean, but we're growing up, you know, that's how we learn. So that's good, at least that you're...
I did have a level, I did. And
You said 20, right? You said 20?
Yeah.
Okay. My 20s. So at your 20, I'm trying to bring something up to light because you're saying, because I know it for a fact that the reason you're emphasizing that point in your life is because it was so heavy.
Yeah.
And during that darkness in your life, were you able to recognize that emotional, I guess, the emotional, I don't know if it's instability or the emotional, what do you call it when you drink and your impairment, that emotional impairment that might affect your decision making? Yes. That's one thing albeit I haven't gone through, I don't know how long you went through it, but I haven't gone through long periods of depression. I've gone through occasional periods of depression where it goes like for a day or two. There's a lot of personal things in my life that has happened to me, and like I said, we all have our battles, right? Mine was with my wife. You know, she has my two kids aren't from the same mom. The imagine your
hard to palate.
Yeah, like it's hard to accept, and you're between this constraint because one of them is your kid's mom, and the other reason is the fact that he doesn't accept your other kid, but for you it's a both kid. It's a fucking hard thing to cross, and so you get these moments of depression where it's really hard to think outside
of yourself,
of that darkness. It's really hard to not let it emotionally push you down into that box.
I had actually been suffering from depression since I was maybe 15. 15, I was on medication for it. Never actually went to therapy. You know, my culture, my you know, we didn't really believe in therapy.
That's like white people shit, right?
Yeah.
That's what my dad was taught me.
Yeah.
Is the therapy thing.
Yeah. You don't go talk to people about your problems.
Yeah.
So even this, like the whole putting your life out there, it's still even like
weird.
my family's like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
I get you. I think that's good though.
I actually I had like ongoing depression. Like it never stopped. I never had like a day of relief. It was just like that was what I recognized my life to be at that point.
That was reality.
That was my reality.
Yeah.
And like a year and a half ago, I just snapped out of it. I just said like I didn't say it like I can't disclose what I did, but no, don't smoke marijuana.
Don't smoke the devil's lettuce.
Don't smoke the ganja if you're depressed. I do not agree with that.
It goes into a rabbit hole.
It definitely starts a negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to make an actual effort to stop negative feedback loops because I catch myself thinking negative things, and then those negative things end up being my reality, and they start dictating my emotions, and then it starts this whole cycle that it's hard to break.
As a Virgonian, I understand.
Yeah.
Because
we're overthinkers.
Exactly.
We overthink every single little
my
thing.
wife says. You overthink too much. You go into this cycle of overthinking.
But because if we're going to do something, we're going to do it right.
No, but exactly, right? I've always said our biggest strengths are our worst weakness.
Yeah. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah, and because you overthink
but I want
everything
to be perfect.
Yeah, and so even your depression has to make sense, like to the point.
Dude, oh my God, trying to make sense of my depression is its own thing.
Yeah.
So I came back from my trip. I came back from my road trip. I went on an 11-day road trip by myself. A lot of introspective thinking.
That's good. What do you call that? Self-meditation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just thinking
all by myself.
Let me ask you a question. I'm aware it's a side comment. Just a quick question. Do you consistently think all the time? Okay, me too.
It never shuts off. I didn't know that it shuts off for people.
No, for me it doesn't. It doesn't.
Does it? Does it shut off for other people?
Sometimes I drive just no music and I'm just thinking.
The entire thing. And then sometimes I don't even know what I'm thinking. I just know I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's weird, man. Virgonians, man.
Very
fucking crazy.
Active.
We should make a fucking clan of Virgos.
Very exhaustive. I came back from my trip and you would think, hey, COVID and everything's happening, but you know what? I'm actually in a really, really good place in my life. Career-wise, relationship, friendship-wise. And
sorry, how's the battery? Okay, go. Sorry.
I I'm in a very healthy place in life.
Okay.
And I came back from my trip. I mean, a solo trip. And then I just came home and had like a complete disconnection. Like I walked into my home and didn't feel like my house was my home.
Okay.
Like it was very
disassociation.
I had like a complete disassociation from my life. And then I came back from a trip. Like, I mean, like I'm talking about like a dream trip and just went through like a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
For an entire week to the point where like.
During that trip? Sorry.
No. Post trip.
Okay.
And normally I thought I was going to ride like my post trip. I thought I was going to ride like the trip happiness all the way to the end of the year and I was going to be fine. And this was like an epiphany of just, you know what? I don't want to do like the 9-to-5 life anymore type of thing. I went through like an actual like little wave of depression, and knowing that I hadn't had depression in over a year and a half, like I actually count like the months, scared me.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to fall into like those little loops. Yeah. But you just kind of have to pull your bootstraps up and say, hey, this is not what I want.
I think it's kind of realizing that you're in control ultimately.
Yes. You are in control.
You're in control.
Yeah, it is. At the same time, I don't want to be insensitive and say that it's easy to get out of depression.
No, it's not.
It's not at all.
It's not.
Like, but you have to make the choice for yourselves to.
It's within your power.
No. The way that I actually ultimately got out of mine, like aside from like medications and stuff like that, I did not like how I felt on medications. But again, you should always try and talk to your doctor if you are going through depression. You should talk to your doctor if your medications are not working for you. Yeah. You have to completely trust the people that are there to help you. But I just woke up one day and I was like, I can't live my life like this. Like, I can't live like this. This is not the quality of life that I want for myself. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't want to feel like this anymore. And so I just every day started building small habits.
Okay.
Going to the gym, got myself into a routine, started eating better. I mean, I've always kind of had a good diet, but I actually started like concentrating and putting my all into whatever it was that I was doing.
Do you think it's because of lack of purpose? Like, you know how routine is in a sense purpose, right? You have that routine, that structure of knowing.
That's definitely something that I'm struggling right now. Like
with purpose,
of course. Like, I already I mean, you know how when you say like life is a choice and like things are like, I already did the whole went to college, got a career, made money.
When you have kids, it helps.
I don't want to have kids for a selfish reason.
I know, but that's the point.
Yeah,
is because it's being selfish.
Yeah. That's my thing. That's my one. Yeah. I don't want to have kids just to be selfish. Like, I don't want kids to just propel me into like the next aspect of my life.
The way I look at it is, a lot of people ask, "What's the purpose of life?" Right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the meaning of life?
No, literally on a biological level, the purpose of life is to reproduce.
That's exactly.
On a biological level, you are here to reproduce, and that's it.
Yeah, but I don't want to take it out of.
We're not Neanderthals anymore. Yeah, we're not cavemen. We're not.
But I don't want to add meaning to that phrase as just being just fucking go, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to add to that because the purpose of life is living, right?
Yeah.
It's living. And you do that one by reproducing and continuing your legacy. Mm-hmm. But that also means to, as opposed to cease, right? To cease of living. But I take it in a more metaphorical way. So as opposed to whatever you're doing, you need to continue your legacy. So what it means to be you, what it means to be your memories, what it means to be the person that has made you today, it's your duty to proceed that after you're done. And the way you do it is with your stories. And normally the way you do it, obviously, is by telling that memory to your children. And your children are the ones who proceed with that memory. Mm-hmm. That basically essential meaning of what being to honoring. Yeah. Not the line of life, maybe the last name. I don't really care about the last name, but it's more like my children are gonna live what my true memory is. Not what you think of me, not what even my sister thinks of me, but what my kids understand of who really I am, which is my my raw personality. Mm-hmm. Because that's how you are with your kids. You live with them every day. In a sense, you're kind of raw with your parents, but dude, your parents raised you since you were in diapers. They saw who you are as a person. And in turn, you saw them who they really are because you saw what they cared for with nothing else but love. Because if you were to leave, if you were to die or cease existing, they wouldn't have Dude, I've had that scenario in my head. If one of my kids died, dude, I don't know exactly what I wanted. Just thinking about it, Melissa, I want to fucking cry.
I was at a funeral yesterday.
I know. And, I didn't want to be insensitive, and I'm sorry.
Oh,
about
you're fine.
those. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, I had that. So I don't want to like put my family's business out there, but my uncle passed away, and
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's okay. My uncle passed away in his sleep. He was 56. Peaceful death. 56. And then I look at my dad. My dad's 53. And it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah. Like
nothing in life is guaranteed at all. And so you just have to put in, it's not even like I just went to a funeral thing, but it's just like people need to start adopting the philosophy that nothing in life is guaranteed.
Yeah.
And you have to do your damn best every single day.
Yeah.
And
because every day is a gift.
My biggest thing in life, like at least what's helped me is just never going to bed angry.
That's a good.
I never want to go to sleep angry with anyone or anything. If I have a problem with someone, I want to resolve it. What if they don't want to resolve it? You can't have expectations with people.
Yeah, okay.
You can't expect closure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't get it.
So you accept that.
Yeah, I accept that. Like I accept that a lot of things are out of my control. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I can do in my life is control my reaction to things. And that actually helps a lot. That was one of my biggest epiphanies in my 20s, was just I can't control what happens to me, but I can control how I react.
That's what did you say? That's a good mental clarity or state of mind, or what did you say about my epiphany? You said something like that.
A good way to live?
No.
Philosophy.
That's a good philosophy that you reached, or that mind.
Self-awareness?
That's self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that's actually very good self-awareness.
It's helped me grow a lot.
It does.
A lot.
I mean, obviously we don't control everything, right?
I tell you that I'm a very sensitive person. I am a sensitive person.
Yeah.
My biggest flaw was that I don't like to, but I do take things personally. But after adopting that philosophy of I can't control what people do to me, but I can control how I react, it's brought me a lot of inner peace.
It takes practice. Right?
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
It's not like, oh, okay,
no.
I know it.
No. I mean, I still drive on the freeway and get really pissed.
Yeah,
like I still get really upset. But
remember, that's his own person.
Yeah.
Dude,
I know you're going 15 under the speed limit, but
I win. Dude, I'm serious. I had that epiphany with that whole you're your own person YouTube video, right? That whole you have your own real reality in your head. And
I forget that.
Yeah.
No. I honestly I'm happy that you reminded me because I forget.
It's an easy
literally
thing to
the
forget.
World does not revolve around me.
To your credit, it's not something easy to remember because we're not made like that. Yeah. We're made to think of us from one. We have a one person.
It's basically how do I progress?
Yeah. Dude, you know what's weird?
Self-preservation. There you go.
Yeah, I mean it's instinctive, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that made me get through that episode is now every time I talk to you, I always look at how you look at me, and every time I talk to her, I think of how she looks at me.
Yeah.
How is she looking at me, and how am I coming across?
But at the same time, never try to. What do we say it like?
Please.
Someone's perspective of you is not your reality. So never try to fit anyone's mold of who you are.
Oh, no, of course not. No, and not in that sense, like I'm trying to appeal to you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, for the sake of realizing that my point of view isn't my only point of view.
Yeah.
I like to, the way I'm talking to you, imagine how I look in your eyes. Mm-hmm. Like me pointing at you and, you know, smiling and just basically trying to read from a third person point of view to kind of get that better understanding. But, I think. Do you think that's a good end?
Yeah.
We went a little bit hard on that one.
Yeah, that's kind of a heavy subject.
I like heavy subjects.
But if you are going through any mental, if you're going through any mental, I wouldn't even call them issues, but if you're not feeling well,
if you're imbalanced,
if you're feeling imbalanced in your life emotionally, spiritually, you know what? Just start with. Can I give my advice on this? Okay, so. What I would do for you, if you're seeing this, is I would create 4 daily habits and practice those habits every single day. And that's whether just going out for a 10-minute walk, stopping negative feedback loops. You know, the way that you think about yourself is very important. You know, call a friend. I actually put that on my daily list. Like every single day, make an effort to meet at least one person or reconnect with somebody that you lost.
That goes a long way. I think that one's really good.
Oh, yeah. Try to build a sense of community.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, to add a fact, I don't want to interrupt you, but yes, because I think with depression, you kind of don't want to disassociate, and that itself hurts more.
Yeah.
That
you don't want to be a burden on anyone else. And I'm just going to say that if you do have depression, you're not a burden on anyone. Yeah, and you shouldn't feel like that.
And you're not the only one.
And you're not the only one. It's just people don't talk about it.
Yeah, no one. It's not something easy to talk about.
I'm pretty sure that no one looks at me and says, "Oh, she's been depressed for the last 10 years."
Yeah, dude. No, like, you don't. You don't look at anyone.
Yeah.
I looked at. I know my dad, and I didn't know he was depressed while he was with my mom, like to the point where that
far.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's important because nothing in life is guaranteed. So make yourself known.
Yeah, known and available, because ultimately we're not here alone, right? Yeah. We're here with the people, and some people do want to help. Yeah. Some people do want to hear. Some people do want to give their own 2 cents.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Anyway, guys, thank you guys for tuning in this time. I need a pee. So we'll see you on the next episode of Beyond Conversation.